Big development. Less than a month after the Prime Minister's visit to the White House, the diplomatic push is paying off. Pakistan is feeling the pinch of the US punch. And at its behest, that is India's behest, Salahuddin, branded a global terrorist, Pakistan declared a safe haven for terror, and now a whopping $350 million aid cut. A telling blow to Pakistan, absolute humiliation and a big snub. Shinjoy Chaudhary, our national affairs editor, joins us with more details. Yes, Shinjoy, this is part of that 900 million that was perhaps promised back in 2016, but now they're getting not even half of it, or just a little more.
Well, the important thing now, Anand, is to see what happens, because it's very possible that this is just the beginning. Now, India is looking to see if all the spares for the F-16s the Pakistani Air Force has will actually get to Pakistan, and the money will be given for it, because it's very important that Pakistan does not get the spares as far as India is concerned. Once those 6 or 7 squadrons of F-16 fighters do not get the spares, and that could well be the next step, that would be very helpful for India. The other point, of course, here relates to the fact that America does not like the way Pakistan has been helping, funding, arming, training the Haqqani network. The Haqqanis are the people who have created the most trouble for America in Afghanistan. And America has not forgotten what the Haqqanis did to American troops. In fact, there have been times when the Pakistan foreign minister was speaking with the Secretary of State. At the same time, the Haqqanis were attacking American troops in Afghanistan.
No, but this position has solidified and this position has strengthened, Shinjoy, is because of India's push. Salahuddin being branded a terrorist, Pak being declared a safe haven for terrorists, and also the Hizbul coming into the picture, along with what was happening with the borders that Pakistan shares with Afghanistan and of US interest. But there is a push, and that's working. The Namo effect, the diplomacy effect, is what is hurting Pakistan, and it's pinched their purse now.
Yes, absolutely right. In fact, the first time India felt that the Americans were really beginning to listen was when the Indian government officials briefed John Kerry during his last visit here. And that was when America actually began to listen and realize what was really happening. And during Prime Minister's visit to Washington this time, it was really the big moment. Salahuddin, as you rightly said, has happened. And very importantly, now America has realized what India has been saying all along. And this time, because of the personal chemistry between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump, it is very apparent that America knows what the problem is, and more importantly that America is doing what has to be done. And the beginning of that was when the American NSA General McMaster made it very clear to the world that the real trouble in Afghanistan and India vis-a-vis terror was caused by Pakistan.
Thanks for the update, Shinjoy Chaudhary, our national affairs editor, because he's just, this news break has set up the debate on the Newshour tonight at 10 p.m.
You're watching the Newshour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Tell us what you think. Isn't Pakistan humiliated? That is the hashtag. Pak humiliated is the hashtag. Tell us what you think. Engage with us on www.involve.in, Newshour, and tell us if this is not the effect of Narendra Modi-led government's foreign policy and the diplomatic push, then what is? And should Pakistan now learn its lesson? That's the other question. Tweet on. We say good evening to our panelists this evening, Major General G.D. Bakshi, Consulting Editor Maruf Raza, Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, and we have Kamar Chima joining us from Pakistan. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on the Newshour this evening. My first question goes to the soldier in the midst. In fact, 2 of them. And we'll open with Major General G.D. Bakshi and then Consulting Editor Maruf Raza. Maruf, if I may go across to Major General G.D. Bakshi. What a push, sir. This is in 2008. I still remember the Haqqani network bombed the Indian mission.
Fine. You know, this $350 million, Anand, was supposed to be the payment the Pakistani army was to get to reimburse it for the costs of the operations in Fata and in the Northwest Frontier Province, you know, Zarbe, Azb, etc. With this denial, I think the Americans have really pinched the Pakistanis, and the fact is they are now being driven absolutely into the vice-like grip of the Chinese. The Chinese have on paper given $51 billion. Some people say it is 57, but only about 10 to 11 billion of it is as direct grant. The rest is all loans with a heavy interest repayment. The problem, I would like our Pakistani interlocutors to look at what has happened to Sri Lanka. They are finding it very difficult to repay back their loan, and the Pakistani and the Chinese are saying that they'll just take over the post of Hambantota. So I'm afraid you have let yourself in by spurning the Americans. You have let yourself into a very, very horrible situation, which in the long term is going to cost you a great deal of your freedom of action, your freedom of maneuver, as you get increasingly indebted to China, which is out to sort of turn Pakistan into a colony, into a virtual colony. You know, that is one thing that I would like them to remember. And the second fact is, till such time as the Americans needed Pakistan for the conduits, the logistical routes via Quetta and Peshawar, they were willing to cough up money and willing to stand a lot of Pakistani nonsense. You know, a lot of Pakistani needling, playing with the, running with the hare, hunting with the hound kind of a thing that they were doing. Now the Americans do not any longer lead that logistical corridor, and they are quite prepared to pay the Pakistanis back in the same coin. This is one thing our Pakistani interlocutors would do well to remember.
So the opening comments coming from you, I know Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed has got that smug grin on his face, and he always does, because he thinks that is going to irritate the panelists over here and all of us here, and we're going to try and respond to that. That's not going to happen.
No. That is not the case.
Okay, then.
I'm sorry. That you are always misreading Pakistanis.
No,
even you
not
misread
at all.
my grin also.
Not at all. Go ahead.
You always do that.
Go ahead. Then what do you mean, sir?
Whatever General G.D. Bakshi said, he was very lucid and he was very fluent, but he was not correct. I'm sorry to say that. Reason being that he tried to line up facts in a manner which suits Indian opinion. It does not suit reality on ground. I would like to inform the journal that Pakistan and China, whatever they are doing, it is absolutely not anti-India. It is to benefit people of the region, and we have open arms welcome to anybody who wants to join it. Iran has done it. The Central Asian states all are interested, and it would be a great show if India joins it. And I tell you, India would benefit.
Did you take India's permission, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, before you sold off our parcel of land?
No, I don't want to give you permission.
No. Did you take India's permission before you sold off a parcel of land that you are squatting on?
Please don't misread this all like my grin.
No, not at all.
Please don't misread it like my grin.
Sir, this
you
is...
are misreading.
See, right now, I can only draw one parallel.
The problem is that your thinking
जिसका सब कुछ लूट गया, वो या तो हंसता है या रोता है. आप हंस रहे हैं, हम देख रहे हैं. शफकत सईद साहब, मैं देखिए, point is, sir, I have, sir, now I can understand the reason behind the grin. जब दर्द बर्दाश्त के बाहर हो जाता है तो इंसान हंसने लगता है, वो रोना छोड़ देता है, हंसने लगता है. I can understand that. I can understand that. Yes, General Bakshi. Before I go across to Maroon
from Indian.
Yes, General Bakshi.
Colonel Shafqat. May I remind you of Alice in Wonderland and the Cheshire Cat's grin? You know, so that's why I'm saying, may I remind you of Alice in Wonderland and the Cheshire Cat's grin? You know, actually what you are saying reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. When will Pakistan come out of this La land?
मफरूजों में चले गए.
अरे नहीं जनाब,
Please relate the
पढ़े लिखे लोगों के साथ पढ़े लिखे
so that you can draw
बातें करनी होती है ना जनाब.
जनरल साहब, आपके इन्फ्लुएंसेस इसलिए गलत है कि आप हमेशा मफरूजों में या 71 में बैठे होते हैं. 2017 में आ जाएं और जमीन के ऊपर चीजों को आंखें खोल कर देखें।
I have to intervene here, General Sahab. I don't know if Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed is talking to himself or talking to you. Yes. Yes, General Bakshi.
जनाब आली, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं, आपने अभी अर्ज किया ये चाइना पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर का, आपने हमें इनवाइट किया कि हम भी कूद पड़ें। मैं सिर्फ आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि अगर आपकी सरजमीन से रोड बनाई जाए बगैर आपके पूछे, बगैर आपको पैसा दिए, बगैर कॉम्पेंसेशन दिए, थ्रू डिस्प्यूटेड टेरिटरी, कौन सा सेल्फ रिस्पेक्टिंग देश उसे एक्सेप्ट करेगा?
कौन सा डिस्प्यूटेड टेरिटरी? जनरल साहब, वो तो अनफिनिश्ड एजेंडा है 1947 के पार्टीशन का। कश्मीर इज पाकिस्तान।
जनाब आली, जनाब
नो दैट इज पाकिस्तान।
जनाब आली,
ये गलत फहमी है।
That is the difference. That is the difference. General Bakshi, General Bakshi, आपने क्या कहा?
कश्मीर इज पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर।
No, General Bakshi, General Bakshi, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed has come to an educated debate. पढ़े लिखे इंसान है, लेकिन जो पढ़ना चाहिए था, जो लिखा हुआ है, उसको वो नजरअंदाज कर रहे हैं. Bringing in Maruf Raza and then Gaurav Bhatia as we open up the debate. सर, आपके साथ एक हमवतन बैठे, उनको भी बोलने दें. आपके साथ एक हमवतन बैठे, उनको भी बोलने दें. कमर चीमा फिर थोड़ी देर बाद आपसे बहस करने लग जाएंगे, उनको आप बोलने नहीं देंगे तो. Let him also come into the debate after Maruf Raza. Maruf, now the fact is, sir.
Okay.
Let's open up the debate, gentlemen. Yes, Maruf Raza, this is a reality. The fact is that they have a prime minister who does not know how long he's got the chair. They have a position where they are getting punched and pinched from all corners. They have only one ally who's got nothing but their interest, not Pakistan's interest in mind. They've bought them over. Now, this is a situation that they face. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. And that's why perhaps Shafqat Saeed cannot stop grinning and laughing. Because इतना बेइज्जत हो गए हैं कि इसके आगे अब क्या रोएं, अब बस हंस के झेलो और क्या है. Yes, Maruf Raza.
अभी आप यही कह सकते हैं.
See, Anand, anyway, I can't see Colonel Saeed. I've seen him earlier on several debates, but let me get to the points that General Bakshi has raised and you've raised. See, first thing to understand is that Pakistan has received in excess of $14 billion from US since 2002 as part of this coalition support fund, which the US releases to Pakistan on an annual basis. And this is not the first time that the US Defense Secretary has denied giving money to Pakistan of the entire amount of $900+ million per year, because the certification was not given by the predecessors of General Mattis, also Ashton Carter. So Pakistan has been on the US radar for some time, and the US feels that Pakistan doesn't need to be reimbursed because it is not doing what the US wants it to do. The second thing is that, so where does Pakistan get its money from? Now, the China-Pakistan economic corridor is a point of huge debate all over the world, that to what extent will it be a success. But let me remind you that while China has promised 48 billion, 46 billion, 51 billion, some people say 60 billion, in reality, not all that money has gone across into Pakistan immediately. The Dawn newspaper was not wrong when it suggested, based on the documents that it had exposed, that China wants to virtually take over Pakistan. Now, if Pakistanis are happy to become a vassal of the Chinese, that's their call. What we are interested in is that China should not go through what we call our territory, and even if China and Pakistan go ahead, as Colonel Saeed has suggested, it is for the greater good of Afghanistan, Iran, etc. We have funds of our own, and we have other investors like Japan on which we want to develop our own infrastructure and proceed eastwards, which is something we will do. We don't need to take this China-Pakistan economic corridor arrangement, and that is the reason why China today is so unhappy and miffed with India, because we've given them a complete rebuttal for their invitation for the OBOR initiative of President Xi Jinping on 14th, 15th May.
Right.
Now, why is the US doing all this? I think to some extent, and that is the point I wish we need to debate, why is the US doing? See, US has denied them the funding. Two, it has said that groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba, Haqqani, etc., they have again put them on the watch list, etc.
Yes.
I feel the US needs to be much more proactive and aggressive if it is serious about going further with the initiative that it has started post Mr. Modi's meeting with Mr. Trump. Now, whether it is the chemistry between the two or whether it's a realization in America that Pakistan is taking them for a joyride for several years, so they must turn the corner. Now, that time will tell.
Right.
I cannot at this stage say with any authority which of the two is working. But what is really going to happen, that more and more Pakistan will be under pressure led by US and its partners in various forums for doing more in the eyes of the US to battle terror. We have been crying hoarse about it. We have to take our own steps. Those steps need not be in line with what US is doing. We should have our own strategy in place. We have some capacity and we are not exercising that capacity. But one thing, let me expose the Pakistani guests to, that quite clearly the Modi government has now decided there is no point talking to Pakistan and expecting they will turn the corner. The position of Delhi is going to become increasingly aggressive towards Pakistan. So, with notwithstanding the umbrella of China, Pakistan will come under a lot of pressure, not only from the US but from India and some of India's friends like Iran and Afghanistan. We will have to see how that will pan out. I can only give a hint at this stage.
Well, Gaurav Bhatia and after that Kamar Chima come into the debate. Kamar Chima, you can think. I'll give you some more time to think about arguments. I know you have you've had a long day and this must be tough on you too. You must be feeling the pinch too. And most importantly, जो पैसे हमने खर्च कर दिए, जो हमने एक्शन में लगा दिया, जितने हमने जिहादी तंजीमों को दे दिए, अब वो पैसे तो मिलेंगे नहीं. अब करें क्या? कहाँ जाएं? Now these are all thoughts which could happen at this point in time. वादा करके खिलाफत कर गए, but that's the effect, sir, of diplomacy. Now your own Prime Minister will be worried about मेरे पैसों का क्या होगा, because he's still worried about the injunction in the Supreme Court. But Gaurav Bhatia, now this is significant, sir. They have taken note and they have said you have not done anything against the Haqqanis, so no money for you. Now if there is a link that India can prove, that there is a connection between the Haqqanis and the Jaish and the terror on our front, and there is a Kadi. I'll come to that. But yes, Gaurav Bhatia.
Yeah, Anand, I would like to begin by a couplet which says, "तुम इतना जो मुस्कुरा रहे हो, क्या गम है जिसको छुपा रहे हो." And I think it squarely applies on the Pakistani panelists. Because the kind of state that Pakistani economy is right now, $350 million is a huge amount for them. And I must say that Mr. Narendra Modi's initiative and foreign policy is now paying rich dividends. As first, Mr. Syed Salahuddin was declared a global terrorist. After that, LET and other terrorist organizations were put on the watch list. And now this cut in funding of $350 million. And let me say this is very significant because we all know that funds that are given to Pakistan are utilized to promote terrorism in India. So the kind of bankrupt and debt-ridden state that Pakistan is, after this funding cut will happen, it would definitely impact them and it would help us, strongly combat the terrorism that is being promoted by Pakistan. Next, I would say even the relationship with Israel is developing, and this is just a beginning. The kind of technology transfer that would happen from Israel, drones that have the capability to keep Pakistan in check and have more surgical strikes, I think.
But you know what, Gaurav Bhatia?
And for Pakistan, I feel that, just 2 days back, there was a very disturbing news that there were children in school, in Indian schools, and there was firing from the Pakistani side. And I could only think of Peshawar when children died there in the Peshawar terrorist attack and Indians wept with Pakistanis. So I also want to make an appeal to our Pakistani panelists that be a human first. and terrorism that you are promoting in India would eventually ensure that Pakistan is wiped off. So please don't promote terrorism. This is time for introspection. You have enough problems in your country, and therefore take a step back, reflect, and then have a foreign policy where India can be of great use to you, and you need India more than we need you. You know that. You started with a begging ball which was tilting towards the US. When US became friends with India, the only difference is you've changed the direction of the begging ball towards China, and nothing else has changed.
Right. Now, before I go to Kamar Chima, I just want to read out what our viewers are saying. Gentlemen, on the news hour, what we've done is we're asking our viewers to respond to panelists specifically. And they do it. We are putting it up on the screens for our panelists to read. There are specific questions coming to. Ashwin says there is a documentary called Secret Pakistan which exposed Pakistan's duplicity with the US in the war against terror. Nagaraj says, had heard one saying, better to smile and suffer than to cry and suffer. Pakistani panelists are an example on the news hour tonight. Pakistan should understand that China, Leonard says, Pakistan should understand that China always has its own interest at heart, and Pakistan will realize this perhaps a tad too late. Another person, another viewer says, I'm reading this live, Kamar Chima. It's flashing on our screens. I don't know if you can see our screens there. There are more. There is somebody who says, who's got a question for Shafkat Saeed Saab. He said, Shafkat Saeed Saab, it's time. It's time that you have to accept the truth. Seedhe jawab dijiye. Why are you giving away your nation as a colony to China? Question to Shafkat Saeed and Mr. Chima. This is Vivek. One of our viewers has asked this. No, he's asked this. Then they've also said, काफी सारी चीजें मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ, फिर उसके बाद आप जवाब दें एक साथ. They're also saying that Pakistan is on cold feet when it comes to accepting India's upper hand in diplomacy. Aid is cut to Pakistan by the United States. Srinivasan says, courtesy return they can expect is a begging bowl from the globe. Pakistan, happy hours is another response. But more importantly, they're saying, now there is a specific question that came to Maruf Raza also. I just wanted to read out. Maruf says, Vivek again says, Pakistan is becoming a colony to China. If yes, then India should speak about Baluchistan and Pak-occupied Kashmir. Now let's go back to Mr. Chima. Why are you giving away your nation as a colony to China? Kamar Chima.
Well, I think, let me tell you first that I think the peanuts of which you are talking this night, the Americans want to give us. Let me tell you, Pakistan will fight terror, even someone support us or not, or even if we have to chase the last terrorist in southern India. So remember, Pakistan will fight terrorism. We are fighting terrorism, and this nation has proved the way we have fought terrorism, nobody else has fought terrorism. More than $100 billion loss of economy, thousands of soldiers and thousands of civilians. Do not tell us what we have to do. And if Americans understand much what they're doing, and let me tell you, the confusion in Washington, D.C. is very much visible. Now, the Defense Department, sometimes they say that Pakistan is doing wonderful. General Joseph Votel gave a statement, in the CENTCOM chief gave a statement in Senate that Pakistan is doing wonderful on 10th March 2017. The congressional delegation that came in the leadership of Senator John McCain, things are fine. And then comes up the Defense Department that we are confused, we must not give the aid. We are not worried about the American
there are
aid.
people,
eliminate terrorism.
There are people.
Let me tell, we have to eliminate the terror one, and we want India to stop creating terror. Till the time India does
you know what?
not
There is a suggestion, Mr. Chima, even as you're speaking, sir.
Cannot be end of terror.
There is a suggestion. So listen, there is a suggestion from our viewers, Mr. Chima. They are saying rather than meddle with Indian affairs, why don't you sort out your internal affairs?
What is needed?
What a quote here, Maruf, from a viewer who says Srihari is messaging us from Kerala, and he says Pakistan should focus on internal affairs than focus on Indian affairs. Now the other one. Now this is rubbing salt on injuries and salt on wounds. They are saying the Indian treasury, the Indian coffers are so full that we can actually buy out Pakistan's debt and we can buy out Pakistan. Let's just do that once and for all and settle the matter. I'm taking it in a lighter vein, but this is the telling blow, Maruf Raza. This is a telling blow. As I bring you back and Major General G.D. Bakshi. Yes.
Anand, see, Mr. Cheema's justification and Colonel Saab's justification will be from the Pakistani perspective. And Pakistan's propaganda machinery within their country is so effective that even informed observers, and I regard Mr. Cheema and Colonel Saeed as informed observers, even they tend to get overcrowded with their opinion, as it has been said by some sensible man. Then when you repeat a lie aggressively many times, it begins to appear as the truth. So the fact of the matter is that Pakistan can keep doing its chest thumping that we are fighting terrorism in Zarb-e-Azab. Zarb-e-Azab was an operation in which they also dislocated more than 1.9 million people of that local region. Zarb-e-Azab was an operation which was largely carried out by air and helicopters. Fighting terrorism requires to put boots on the ground, which eventually costs human lives. And that Pakistan had been reluctant for a long time till they were under pressure to show results. Otherwise, the world would turn against them. So, General Rahil Sharif and everybody earned kudos for what they did. But the truth of the matter is that Pakistan keeps blaming.
The other European countries are
ठीक है, चीमा साहब, आप जो है, चीमा साहब, आप इस्लामाबाद और रावलपिंडी की तूतुड़ बजाते रहिए. But the reality is, the world sees you as an epicenter of terrorism. Whether you say you have spent 100 billion, I don't know where you are counting the 100 billion from. Because your total country's entire GDP is about 250 billion. So if you are counting your defense budget, which takes up 50% of your GDP, then
you are creating
maybe you are
India,
probably right.
But do you know
but this is the problem with Pakistan. That they have an inflated opinion, Anand. They have an inflated opinion of what they are doing. Unfortunately, you would do well, Cheema Saab.
We saw, like Gaurav Bhatia said, Kamar Cheema,
to use your propaganda machinery to tell the world, that you are actually doing some fighting against terrorism.
We saw how much you understand the pain when Gaurav Bhatia brought the issue, sir. Do you know 200 school children? 200 school children were bearing the brand of Pakistani guns for no fault of theirs. Where do you understand pain? You forgot Peshawar when you did that. And that's the reason why. Maruf Raza, yes.
Bin Laden. And be careful, don't
So Pakistan to say they are fighting terror when they nurture the biggest terrorist in the world next to their military academy is a bit of an dichotomy and an irony.
Right.
That what terrorism are you fighting जब दुनिया के सारे असली आतंकवादी आपके हाथों से खाना खा रहे हैं, तो आप किससे लड़ रहे हैं, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
Sir, ये देखिए, Maruf Raza, what he's saying on the Newshour, sir, sir, ये जो जनरल बख्शी ने कहा ना कि पढ़े लिखों की डिबेट है, समझ रखने वालों की डिबेट है. शफकत सईद साहब, Gaurav Bhatia wants to engage with you. I'm going to put the two of you gentlemen and then you can engage with each other after I get a quick comment in from Major General G.D. Bakshi. Sir, you said, and look, Maruf Raza, I'm just noting what you said and look at this. They're saying, what has Pakistan, how many people has Pakistan killed actually? How many terrorists have they killed? Pak is just killing people who are against you or don't listen to you. No known terrorist has been killed in the last 10 years. Exactly what Maruf Raza just said a short while back. And that's something, this is what you're mirroring. Now, Maruf, you mentioned the cost of $250 billion. There is a viewer who said the same thing. The other thing they're saying, the world woke up to terrorism after 9/11. India has been facing it since 1947.
Anand, let me add a
state
footnote.
of delusional people and passionate liars, says Mr. A. Sharma. They conducted a genocide in Bangladesh, repeating it in Balochistan.
Not confused.
Colonization by China is only a matter of time. Unless Pakistan mends its ways, the Pakistanis must wake up to this fact.
India must know that the way
and Nandini Harsha says, another viewer says, Pakistan as a nation is nearing its expiry date. Major General G.D. Bakshi, another pot shot taken. Pity its citizens, we love our neighbors, you are always welcome here.
I think the
General
US
Bakshi.
State Department report must include and the UN must know this time.
Colonel Cheema, kindly.
Kamar Cheema, sir, Kamar Cheema. Kamar Cheema.
When India was
now today
we eliminated all the terrorists from Qatar. We did a huge job. The world is recognizing.
Let him shout. Kamar Cheema, like I said, you need to practice it more. It's not coming out perfectly.
Anand, when this
That emotion is not that emotion of aggression, sir, is not. You've not practiced it well. It's not working. It's looking fake, Kamar Chima. So calm down. It's looking fake, Kamar Chima. Calm down. Let General Bakshi speak.
Intellectual depth. General Bakshi. Paid apologist. Cut his volume down.
General Bakshi.
Chima Sahab, 1 minute.
General Bakshi.
Chima Sahab, kindly give me a, you know, Anand, I was saying that the Pakistanis suffer from what in Freudian psychology is called the problem of projection. They have all that ills and problems themselves. They are the ones who nurture terrorists, but they would like to project it onto India. India is the one that, you know, is promoting terrorism against them via the Afghan Taliban, the Pakistani Taliban, and what have you. This is called a classic problem of projection. As far as their operations against terrorism are concerned, military experts in Europe, in France especially, have said, you know, they may look magnificent, but they are not war, because first they advertise we are coming, civilian population evacuate, all the terrorists fled to the other side, then they bombed the empty villages to smithereens, blew up their houses, sent 1.9 million Afghans into refugee camps from Fatah and the other places. And how many terrorists did you kill? Negative. They just killed some civilians to show that they were doing this. This is eyewash.
It is an eyewash. Now, Shafkat Saeed and Gaurav Bhatia, Kamar Chima, calm down. Let your compatriot, आपके हमवतन को तो बोलने दें कि आप उनकी आवाज भी दबाएंगे. अब सुन रहे हैं आप? अरे आपके बगल में बैठे हैं, मैं बोल रहा हूं कि उन्हें बोलने दीजिए, आप उनको भी मौका नहीं दे रहे. ऐसा मत कीजिए, ऐसा मत कीजिए. लोग देख रहे हैं आपको. सबसे पहला सवाल, शफकत सईद साहब, आपको सबसे पहला सवाल आपको एक व्यूअर पूछ रहे हैं कि आप क्या देख रहे हैं बार बार फोन पे? कोई आपको क्यूज दे रहा है क्या? आपको कहीं चाइना, कहीं पिंडी, कहीं से आपको क्यूज आ रहे हैं कि नहीं व्यूअर जानना चाहते हैं. मैं सर मैं नहीं जानना चाहता हूं. Ashwin is a viewer who is asking you this question. Now let's get back. So there are a lot of people saying a lot of things tonight on the Newshour, and I like the engagement. One of them saying that India has reached Mars and Pakistan is still trying to infiltrate into India. तो आप देखिए हमारी सोच कहाँ है, आपकी पहुंच कहाँ है. But let's get back to the debate. Gaurav Bhatia and Shafkat Saeed. Gaurav Bhatia, you wanted to engage with Shafkat Saeed on some points he made. Yes.
Yeah. You know, I have just a few points to make, and I am sure that Mr. Shaukat would extend the courtesy of listening to me and then answering whatever I'm saying.
Shafkat Saeed.
I think not just the Indian viewers, even the Pakistani viewers. Can I complete?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Even the Pakistani viewers are laughing at what Mr. Shaukat and the other panelists, Pakistani panelists.
Gaurav Bhatia, just a small correction, sir. He is Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed.
How do you fight?
Just for that. But he'll keep interrupting you till you get it right. So I'm just requesting you. He's Shafkat Saeed.
Yeah, Mr.
Shafkat Saeed. Yes.
Shaukat, yeah. So I just want to, with all respect to him, I would only ask you, how do you fight terrorism with Mr. Hafiz Saeed, Sayyid Salahuddin, Maki, Daud, Ibrahim, Osama bin Laden? If you fight terrorism with the kind of people that I have named, then I think, it's good luck to you, and maybe one day you'll understand the dangers of being in a company of such people. Second, I think Pakistan has this rare distinction of being home to the maximum number of global terrorists, and India is proud that we have never ever supported a terrorist, leave alone a declared global terrorist. Now look at the contrast. After independence, we had independence basically at the same time. Pakistan became an Islamic country. We became a democratic country. The minority population in India grew, whereas the minority population in Pakistan has been diminished because of torture. We have always been a democracy, no dictatorship ever. Half of your independence, there has been dictatorship in Pakistan. Is it not time for you to reflect how, and maybe you can learn from our past and present, which shows how a vibrant democracy should work. In the end, The hashtag says Pakistan humiliated.
I know you're
you cannot humiliate a nation like Pakistan, which has no self-respect.
You have reached your climax when your woman is not safe as compared to cow. And I know.
No, but you tell us half the time we have seen dictatorship. Your rulers have been hanged. Are you aware of that? General Pervez Musharraf had to flee from Pakistan. This is the kind of banana republic you are.
You cannot. Your own Prime Minister.
You scrutinize your rulers by hanging them.
There is an education.
So that shows that you have no metal, you have no conscience. Every ruler is corrupt and you hang them or you send them out of Pakistan. This is the kind of democracy that you claim to have.
This is the kind of man that Prime Minister you have.
You persecute people in minority. You don't protect their fundamental rights. Maximum number of human rights violations occur in Pakistan.
Now,
you don't have a rule of law. The courts don't function. Mr. Jadav's case, you don't even give consular access.
What did you do to Muslims?
Look at Pakistan,
they were being killed.
So shameful.
And your shamed population was
so shameful.
Don't talk nonsense. You have no face to talk like that. You need to keep quiet.
Very shameful.
Sir, are you trying to say? Sir, are you trying to say that the face to talk nonsense lies only on the other side of the border? No. Are you trying to say that the face to talk nonsense lies only on the other side of the border? I do not know, Mr. Colonel Shafqat Saeed, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed. Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed.
How is it?
Sir, let me take a few names. Let me take a few names.
Hafiz Saeed is there. Dawood Ibrahim is there. Are these the kind of people you idolize?
You are now.
You think they will give you a vibrant democracy?
Sir, these are facts. These are facts.
You should shoot them. They should be shoot at sight orders and you should shoot these people.
Right. Now, they will not, sir. Sir, Haqqani network कहाँ पर है? पाकिस्तान में. हिजबुल मुजाहिदीन कहाँ पर है? हिजबुल मुजाहिदीन के सरहद नहीं हिजबुल मुजाहिदीन के सरपरस्त कहाँ पर हैं? पाकिस्तान में. जैश मोहम्मद के सरपरस्त कहाँ पर हैं? पाकिस्तान में. Can we put out that Abdul Rahim Makki visual please? That terror conclave. जैश मोहम्मद Abdul Rahman Makki. Okay, Makki is with the Jamaat-ud-Dawa, Major General G.D. Bakshi, and the US has recognized they've got a bounty of 2 million on him because they have recognized him as a go-between or a conduit between the Lashkar, Jamaat-ud-Dawa and the Taliban. This is the man, sir. This is the man who gets to roam freely. Who gets to roam freely? Sir, that is not Salahuddin, but Hafiz Saeed's brother-in-law, Abdul Rahman Makki. We correct that. Hafiz Saeed's brother-in-law, Abdul Rahman Makki.
Anybody who supports Kashmiris is a hero around the world, whether he is from Europe or he is from Middle East or wherever he is from. And these people have...
Let Major General G.D. Bakshi rebut.
You think killing people will make one a hero?
The way you are committing human rights violations in Kashmir.
I got that.
Do you have any...
Let General Bakshi rebut. Kamar Chima after that, please. Kamar Chima after that, please. Yes, General Bakshi.
How you are doing...
I am trying to tell you, Colonel Chima, please read the UN Security Council resolution number 1267, which says that no cause in the world, including the cause of Kashmir, will justify the use of terrorism. You need to go and read the UN Security Council resolution again, reflect upon it seriously, because it has serious repercussions for your future. You nurture terrorists, you nurture snakes in your backyard, and they will bite you one day. You feed them milk in the fond hope that they will only bite your neighbors. I'm afraid you are going to be rudely shocked when those same snakes, those same vipers bite the hand that feeds them milk.
Yes.
This is your problem. You nurtured these terrorists. You can't play the victim now.
You have committed human rights violations. General
You
Sahib, you have
raised them.
committed human rights violations. You come from the army, that is human rights violator. We know, and India must know that
What
the way
about the
India is
Pakistani
violating
army
international
and its
law,
human rights
India must
violations
be- the
in
Indian army
Balochistan?
soldiers must be tried in International Court of Justice. Indian army soldiers must be
How
tried
about
in
the
International Court of
Pakistani
Justice.
soldiers?
And you have
How about
violated
Tikka
international
Khan
law.
being tried
What kind
for the
of
genocide
are you a
in
soldier?
in
What
Bangladesh?
kind of a soldier you are?
How about
Must
your
have
soldiers
respect.
being taken
Don't
to
you
the
know that how
International
do
Court
you
of
have violated
Justice
international
for
law?
gross human
And you are
rights
not
violations
General Bakshi.
in Balochistan?
General Bakshi, General Bakshi,
What kind of respect?
General
What
Bakshi,
kind of
this is the night.
Killing.
This is the night
Do
when
you
we
know
don't need to up
what
our
is the
blood
half
pressure
of
because over in Pakistan there is low BP. Because their sugar cubes have been taken away. America is not giving them. America is not giving them anything to sweeten their the punches sour. They're going to feel
We
it.
have never seen soldiers mutilated by our people. Your
देखा
soldiers were mutilated by
Sir,
women, militants.
वो खंबा
and
नोच
they
रहे
were
सर आज
mutilated
थोड़ा
at groin.
like I said sir they are hiding the pain behind the smiles and we've just exposed them. Who shouted on the
You don't
Newshour
talk about
tonight
it.
we can see.
You don't talk about your soldiers.
Colonel
The
साहब
atrocities
लेफ्ट
committed.
अरे शफकत सईद
Let
साहब
me tell you,
शफकत सईद साहब
Captain Sumit
शफकत
Kohli,
सईद
the
साहब
most decorated officer
सर
of
अभी
Indian
42
Army.
मिनट पहले तो आप हंस रहे थे अब आप खंबा नोच रहे हैं मत करिए
सुमित कोहली की वजह
मत करिए सर मत करिए सर मत करिए अभी तो $3.5 मिलियन की कटौती हुई है अभी क्या क्या कटेगा क्या क्या बटेगा आप सोच लीजिए
अमेरिका ने हमें
सर आप इतना समझे चीन वहां बैठा है आप पर कब्जा करने के लिए चीन वहां बैठा है अपना उल्लू सीधा करने के लिए चीन बैठा है आपकी कोई हिमायत नहीं करेगा वो जब तक आपसे फायदा है वो आपकी तरफ देखेगा फिर आपको छोड़ देगा दैट्स व्हाट विल हैपन सर प्लीज वेक अप तब तक आपको बांट चुके होंगे आपको काट चुके होंगे और इधर से आपके पास बचा कुचा कुछ नहीं है सर सोच लें सर सोच लें सर सोच लें you have a good weekend please think about it and come back awakened please that's the only request I can make gentlemen I'm winding up the Newshour right now I thank you all for joining me we got a major news break coming across on our Times Now expose we've cracked that I just want to take 5-7 minutes on that here on the Newshour